Hello, and welcome back to What We Pod in the Shadows, where we are currently discussing Season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
Today we are going to be talking about the Season 3 finale, The Portrait. But before we get into that, just a reminder too, if you haven't already, to follow/subscribe to the podcast and leave us a comment or a review. It would be really helpful to us because it'll help us get out there to more listeners.
And if you want to check us out on another podcast, be sure to also like and subscribe to Mojo Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, where we are watching and discussing the classic Powerpuff Girls and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. We're currently on season 3 of the Powerpuff Girls, but we're about to switch back over to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, that's going to be the second half of part 3.
Okay, so episode 10, The Portrait. The whole group is having a portrait made by Donald Logue without Colin, including the guide, the Baron, the Sire, and the Hellhound. They argue whether Guillermo should be in the portrait, and he thinks they all should talk about Colin in order to process his death, but they all kind of refuse. Donald Logue shows all his paintings and explains how he learned how to paint. Nandor and Laszlo just want to move on, but Nadja questions why they had to rush it as Colin has only just died. Nandor takes offense at something Nadja says and tells them all to fuck off, and Nandor tells how hard the past year has been on him, and he has realized life is precious, and he has decided to travel the world.
Yeah, so he reveals this to Guillermo, and Guillermo is upset, and he's like, I can't drop everything to go traveling with you. And Nandor's like, you're one of the things I need to get away from. Guillermo questions how Nandor will be protected during the daytime and how he'll carry around his ancestral dirt. Nandor's like, it's time for me to move on, and Nadja and Laszlo probably want to leave too. Nadja says she's trying to avoid talking about Colin Robinson because it will upset Laszlo, and Laszlo's like, I'm over it. Nadja tries to persuade Laszlo to travel back to England with her, but he refuses, saying he made a vow never to return. Guillermo tries to get Nadja's attention to tell her about Nandor leaving, but Nadja shows Guillermo a VHS she received from the Vampiric Council offering her a higher-up position in the council in England. Nadja wants to go, but she won't without Laszlo.
So I had just noted that, while they're all kind of storming back and forth, the poor Baron and the Sire and I guess the Hellhound are just kind of just waiting in the parlor to finish the portrait.
Yeah, I think when Nandor first stormed off, Donald Logue was like, take 5, and the Baron's like, take 5 what? So they didn't even know they meant to take a break.
Well, I mean, the Baron still doesn't have legs, so
yeah,
he can't really go anywhere. But I guess he's probably, really both of them were stuck places for a really long time, so maybe they just don't care.
Yeah.
They're old. Okay, because not just saying she won't go without Laszlo, Guillermo is delighted because then he thinks Nandor won't leave if they aren't leaving. I guess she had done something before where she traveled for 2 weeks and it was he didn't eat or was jacking off or something.
Yeah.
So she can't see leaving without him either because he won't take care of himself. Laszlo wasn't allowed to be part of the Sherwood Club of London, which his father and grandfather were a part of, so he left for America, which at the time was a land of opportunity. Guillermo is further delighted to hear Laszlo will never, ever go back, and that vampires always make grandiose plans, but never follow through. But then he goes back to Nandor, who has been making travel plans with the guide, who's an expert on vampire travel.
They return to getting their portraits painted. Guillermo tries to give a speech about blood family versus found family, but is interrupted by Naja blurting out that she wants to move to England because of her job offer, and Nandor announcing that he wants to leave Staten Island to travel. Laszlo was like, fuck no, we're not going back. They kicked me out of the Sherwood Club. Naja's like, so what? He reveals that the reason he was kicked out of the club was for marrying Naja, whom they considered to be a peasant girl, and that classism is the reason he never wants to return. Naja says that with their new role in the Vampire Council, they have a much higher social standing, so Laszlo changes his mind. Donald finishes the portrait.
I'm just kind of annoyed with Laszlo thinking he can decide for everyone else what they're doing or not doing. It's just sort of annoying, especially when it comes to Naja, and then kind of what he did there with Colin. He knew a secret, and then he was kind of deciding what Colin's last things he would do would be. I don't know.
Yeah, yes.
So the guide had advised Nandor that he could keep his ancestral soil in a backpack, and that way he could lay down anywhere or take a nap anywhere. And then Nandor said this trip would be his eat, pray, love moment. Okay, so Guillermo retreats to Nandor's room with Nandor following. Guillermo says Nandor only lives because Guillermo lets him. They begin physically fighting and throwing each other around. Guillermo throws a knife at Nandor's portrait with his horse John, and when he turns, Guillermo has pulled out his crucifix. Nandor's flesh smokes, and he says Guillermo has passed his test, that he can see Guillermo can take care of himself and protect Nandor. Guillermo is skeptical, but Nandor says when they reach the river Tigris in Alcanador, he will make Guillermo a vampire finally.
Guillermo was very excited and emotional about that, but Nandor won't let him hug him, and so Guillermo agrees to go. Guillermo excitedly packs for his trip. Guillermo says he's willing to help Naja and Laszlo with their coffin so he can say goodbye, and asks Nandor to take his luggage to the train station. The guide gives Nandor a going away card, and it's signed by the wraiths that work with the Vampire Council. She's like, yeah, they can't really write anymore, so we just dip their claws in ink.
Yeah.
Naja says goodbye to Nandor and rushes Guillermo to help with their coffins. Laszlo comes out of the basement where Colin Robinson's body is, looking disturbed and unsettled, but denies anything weird happening. At the docks, Guillermo helps Naja and doll Naja into a coffin with a tablet filled with episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race. Guillermo goes to help Laszlo with his coffin, but Laszlo, for some reason, has packed bags of Oreos and Pedialyte, which he claims are worth their weight in gold in England. He wishes Guillermo safe travels, then pushes him into the coffin and nails the coffin and crate shut. Guillermo yells for help as the crate and the coffin are loaded onto the ship.
Nandor's train arrives, and he calls for Guillermo, but has to leave without him. I don't know why he leaves behind his suitcase thingy. Laszlo writes a letter to Naja saying that although he sent Guillermo with her, that he knows she can take care of herself. It is revealed when he finally went to say goodbye to Colin that something has tunneled its way out of Colin's belly and left a trail behind. Down a hallway and in another room, he found a baby Colin Robinson. He tells Naja in the letter, there are other weaker things that need protection, and then the end credit scene shows him hanging the new portrait. And I wrote, he didn't need to lock Guillermo in the coffin.
Fuck no, he didn't need to involve Guillermo in that at all. Hell, maybe he could have even brought baby Colin Robinson with them or something. I'm just you've ruined things for Guillermo and Nandor. You're always ruining things for each other.
He's just always I don't know. He interferes in stuff. That's not really his decision to make. And probably had he just given Naja his blessing, he could have just stayed at home. There wasn't any need to send Guillermo. That part I don't understand. Because he even said he knew that she could take care of herself. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's gonna be terrible, awful trip for Guillermo in a way that it will not be for a vampire.
Yeah. I don't think we said, but did you say he'd like drilled a hole?
Yeah, I don't think I said that.
So like if Guillermo was real careful, like he could like poop and pee through it or something. I guess was I mean, once they land, Guillermo could come back. But it's probably gonna be a long trip by ship.
Yes.
I don't know. That whole plan just doesn't really make sense. And I'm not sure why he wanted to keep baby Colin Robinson secret exactly. I know it came at an odd time because they were all taking trips, but
yeah. Laszlo, when I get you.
This sort of reminds me of the finale because I mean we've already recorded the season 6.
Yeah.
But just kind of how Guillermo's running around freaked out the whole episode because they're all trying to leave and I can't remember in the next episode. I mean, I think these trips might have been fun to see, and I'm doubting that they really show them. They probably just have quick little flashbacks, and we don't get to see any of it. I bet.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, we do at times skip, and everybody's coming back after their trip, and that could have been interesting to see.
Because it's called Reunited, so I'm pretty sure we're not gonna see that.
Yeah.
It does make sense, the guide is knowledgeable about vampire travel. I don't know, at this time or something, it might have made sense. If maybe they brought the guide and Nandor together or something, they could have traveled together.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they kind of tried to shoehorn that at the end. Didn't really make sense.
I hate when they wait till the last season to try to pair two characters up. I literally can only think of one time where I liked that. Any other time, I'm just okay, well, everyone else got to have this long ass, arc and romance and shit, and then just these two are together now.
I'm not sure with, Naja being invited to the World Vampiric Council. Well, first, the guide was very shocked that she was given that position. Yeah. I feel like maybe she's overlooked a lot. But, I mean, sometimes these things are traps. I kind of was slightly alarmed.
Yeah.
On Naja's behalf. And there's a bunch of shit Laszlo's always over my dead body.
But ain't so fucking stubborn and obstinate.
Well, and these people that wouldn't let him in the club supposedly because of Naja, aren't they all dead? What?
Yeah, it's
and they probably weren't even going to. I mean, that club probably doesn't even exist anymore. I don't know, maybe in England they kind of keep some of that old shit. Because there's bars in Great Britain that are fucking old as time. But
yeah,
but that club really doesn't exist, and they don't have to go there anyway. It's, I don't know. It's one of them just old people that are just all set in their ways, and you can't convince them of anything else. Even though it's that's literally not how it works anymore.
Yes. I'm also just really mad on Guillermo's behalf for several reasons. He was gonna finally get made a vampire. He was gonna get to spend more time with an Andor, and then now he has to be in a claustrophobic ass crate and coffin for months before the ship.
Yeah, a torturous, like a punishment almost.
Yes.
I'm kind of not even sure why Naja is traveling that way.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, maybe just going across the ocean there. I'm not sure how long a flight would be, but it may be unavoidable.
Maybe.
Where you wouldn't be in the sunshine. But if she's in, if she was in a coffin in with the luggage, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
I guess in that way, honestly, they probably did need to have someone with them, possibly. I'm not sure with the ship if that was with vampires. It was the crew. I didn't really catch on to that, but
yeah, I don't think they really explained or elaborated on that one.
Because, like, Nandor wanted to go see, like, the wonders of the world, and he was gonna go by train somehow. Like, I don't totally get that, but then even if Guillermo was there to help, like where to put Nadja's coffin and belongings, he's locked in a coffin himself. So
Yeah.
it made some sort of Laszlo sense, but it doesn't make any logical sense.
No. I did think it was funny though. Nandor wanted to see the wonders of the world, and he just like listed off a bunch of stuff that I know has long since been destroyed.
Yeah. Like stuff a long time ago that was the
Yeah, like I think he mentioned like the Colossus of Rhodes and it's like the Hanging Gardens in Babylon. I'm like, I know that shit's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Let's go like see like the Sphinx or the pyramids or something. He's gold, but alright. I think we are going to end our discussion here. Tune in next time when we start season 4. And that episode is going to be Reunited. Thank you so much for listening to and supporting the pod. If you haven't already, just again, follow/subscribe, leave a review or comment. Basically push all those buttons for us. Help us get out there so more people can see us. So until next time, remember, you're dead and out of this world. Goodbye.
Goodbye.